So, does a story change over time as you
Hmm.
tell a story? Does it, do you sometimes change it, or does it?
It evolves. Sometimes a line or a phrase will just insert itself while I'm practicing or while I'm telling it, um, and it just works. And every story is different. It changes with the teller,
Mhm.
and that's kind of the way it's supposed to happen.
Right.
There's a saying that uh, that Dan Ketting had on one of his CDs. A story is like a letter from the past that comes to us. We add our bit and send it on to the future, and it just kind of grows with each teller. Or
Mhm.
the stories are written to educate or to entertain. They're certainly the first form of education when, when language first started, when the hunters came in and described how they had captured their kill. That was entertaining information. When they, told you what not to do because this one died doing it, that was the first education. you know,
Yeah,
uh,
don't do that.
yeah, don't do that, you will die. You know, so they're there to teach. They're certainly the oldest form of education, entertainment, or anything.
Certainly, many cultures have stories. I
Hmm.
mean, you just hear, creation stories. Is every culture kind of has their own
Hmm.
creation stories, how the world came
But
about, how the animals ended up here,
hmm
those kinds of things.
and there are similarities in stories all over the world. You find there's a Cinderella story in every culture. There are just themes in stories that are just that are all encompassing. They don't really aren't any particular culture, but how that culture addresses that theme is different.
Right. Yeah, we're all, as much as we're different, there's a lot that we're alike.
Hmm. And it's great to be able to share that. I don't tell much in the way of Native American tales because they're still, there are Native American tellers still
Right.
actively involved in those stories. I do tell some, but um, I have a very small percentage of Osage, and I'm looking into some of those things. But I really want to know more about them than to tell their stories, I think.
Uh,
But you know, they just get. I have storytellers collect books. we're we're always looking for new and different books of folk tales or different versions of stories. I'll usually, when I see a story, I'll look for 3 or 4 versions of it so I get down to what's the real story, and then make that my own rather than take someone else's version.
so do you get most of your stories out of books, or do you get them from other storytellers? Is there?
Yes, yes. You'll hear if I hear a storyteller tell a story that I like, I'll go research that story and maybe find a different version that I like, or because you don't want to take somebody else's stuff, but um, some of it, some people are writing lots of wonderful fictional stories, and they share them with other tellers and allow them to be told, which is very great. But I'm just not a fiction. I did write one, but it's not ready to be told yet. I don't like it yet
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
very much.
So to practice, you sit around at home and tell stories to your husband or
No,
your?
back to the car again. People think I talk to myself everywhere I go, but no, I'm practicing stories, and if I don't like the way a phrase is, I'll stop myself and redo it. I'll read or tell a story into a microphone and record it, and then take that version and listen to it in the car to learn the story. But I also am hearing it in my own voice, and I can hear what I don't like about it. What I don't like, I put too much emphasis on this or not enough on that, and that's been a wonderful tool to learn stories and to learn how I want them to sound. It
Right.
can be a bit shocking at first.
Yeah, getting used to listening to your own voice.
That's hard.
Yeah. Why don't you have another story or a song, or
This
what do you
I
want?
just learned this song. I hope I can get it right. This is actually a child from the Child Ballads, and I'm sorry I don't remember the gentleman's first name. His last name was Child. He went around collecting songs from the Appalachian area,
Oh, yeah.
and these songs were just almost totally unchanged from England and Scotland. This is called Springfield Mountain, and it was a teaching song to, tell you, warnings. But they have to couch it in something a little bit, add a little, I guess, humor, and instead of a heavy song, it's very light, but it's about somebody dying, but that's folk music. On Springfield Mountain there did dwell a lovely youth. I knew him well. I yelled to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay, to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay. I hate this lovely youth. One day did go down to the meadow for to mow. I oh to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay, to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay. I he had not mowed quite round the field when a poison serpent bit his heel. I yield to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay, to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay. I they took him home to Molly dear, which made him feel so very queer. I hear to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay, to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay. I now Molly had two ruby lips, which the poison she did sip. I yip to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay, to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay. I but Molly had a rotten tooth, and so the poison killed them both. I to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay, to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay. I on Springfield Mountain there did dwell a lovely. I knew him well. I yelled to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay, to Rudy knew, to Rudy nay. So I guess the lesson in that is don't mow in your bare feet, and good oral hygiene.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, most stories seem to have a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
There's always
Yeah, there's a point.
something to learn out of them.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it doesn't hit you until third or fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time you've heard that story or told that story. You'll go, oh, that's what that means. Maybe I should pay attention.
So it's not always apparent.
No. And I think I like